I went to shake hands with them. It kind of upset me a little bit. And I don't really know the real reason.
You guys are the non-believers. Someone gets the wrong end of the stick, and then they go on and have this misconception for the rest of their lives.
I mean, I've been in situations where I've been on buses with Muslim ladies.
The reason that I've called you here, Sandra, is just to discuss the experiences that we had would serve as a lesson for many people out there. I mean, London, Britain, let's say Britain in general, but particularly London, which is where we both are located, it's very multicultural. You've got lots of people from different backgrounds and walks of lives, and we have to live together, we have to work together, and we have to get on, all right? So can we go back to, I don't know, how many years ago was it that we became friends? I was at the school, our school, which we won't name. I was there for 16 years. So I think I sort of got to know you within my first 3 years. So about 13 years. We've kind of had, about 13 years. I remember, right, that day when I walked into the staff room and I saw you quite upset. I was a Muslim man, and because of what was happening with the media, every day there was a negative image of Islam. So one of the things that I try to make sure that I do, as you know, I can only control my actions, is I always try to give a good light of Islam to others, like without ramming it down their throats. We had the 2006 bombings. We had 9/11. Everyone was still reading off the back of 9/11. It was every day like this demonstration, and you know the cartoons that were done in France, you know the Charlie Hebdo things, and every day there was negative, and the prevent thing, and it's always this. It's not easy, right? And you won't understand this maybe, right? But it's not easy being a Muslim man or a woman or a child growing up amongst all these things, because we know what Islam is. We know that Islam isn't those things that are in the media. And the media were doing a fantastic job in making sure that people had this sort of misconceptions about Islam, about Muslim people, that, you know, they want to, for example, they want to cancel Christmas, and they are all themselves, and they don't, you know, you guys are the non-believers, and these kind of things. I knew deep down Islam is a very peaceful religion. It's the religion of all mankind, and it was important that people realize this. And obviously we couldn't go out there. I wouldn't go up to you and say, hey, let me talk to you about Islam, all right? So tell me about that very first time that you were upset. What happened?
Someone came in for an interview, a Muslim man.
Yeah.
And being a friendly person like I am, I went to shake hands with him.
Sorry, just explain your role in the school. What do you do?
Welfare.
What does that? And so part of that is meeting new people who come to the school for
I also interviews. Look after all the cover teachers, any visitors that come into the school for interviews, take them on tour of the school, make them feel welcome.
And so this Muslim man came in for a job interview, and you went to collect him.
I did.
And you went to meet him. And what happened?
And I went to shake hands with him, and he said, I'd rather not.
What, shake hands with you?
Mind.
And how did that make you feel?
I was quite upset and shocked.
Okay.
At the time, because it's never ever happened to me before in all the years I've worked at that school.
You meet other people who come into the school.
Loads and loads of people from all different religions.
So did you shake hands with other Muslim people that had come to the school for job interviews? Or was that the first time?
No, I'm sure I have, yeah. But that's the first time that someone refused to shake hands. I don't know if I took it kind of personally a bit, really, because I'm a friendly, outgoing person, make everyone feel welcome. And it kind of upset me a little bit.
Okay, I remember you being upset.
I didn't really understand, yes.
And I think I didn't know you too well then, but I remember I came to know of it, whether it was through you, I think it was through you. And can I be honest, like when I first heard about it, I was in two minds about it. I was confused at that time, because there was one side where I was like, no, he's done the right thing. This is, something that, Muslim men generally won't shake hands with the opposite gender if they're not, someone who they are married to, their family members, or anything. Some people we call a mahram, which is a someone that you can't marry, okay, like your brother or your sister or your uncle, whatever. But there was another side to this as well, because there are situations where, I might shake hands with you, right, in that situation, and there's a reason why I would shake hands with you. For example, if you look at what the reason is for the shaking of the hands, and this is not really the objective of this sort of our little interview here, but the reason is that a man has no right to touch another woman. It's to protect them, really. So, sometimes, you get in the workplace, someone, a man will quite easily put his hand on a young woman while they're talking about something. And sometimes a woman might be uncomfortable with that. So this touching, there needs to be a sort of barrier. But I would see you as someone who is, significantly older. I don't mean to be rude or anything, but you're quite older than me, and I see you as my mother. Okay, so I wouldn't really have those sort of feelings at all about this. So I may have shaken your hands there, but I don't blame the other guy for not shaking your hands. But I felt at that time that, with everything that's going on out there, you're a good woman and you're going to start having these negative vibes about Muslims in general. And I thought, I need to obviously, and I stepped up that day. I wanted to explain things to you. I wanted to, but not directly. I knew that it's very hard to, let's not go into it straight away. I tried to make you understand that, look, see us for actually, we are good people. Muslims are generally at heart good people. And I know that you know this now.
I could have taken it the wrong way, really to heart, like saying that all Muslim men are the same or not good people,
and we don't want to
like that
mix with other people, you might have said.
Yeah.
I got to know that you were hurt, but I didn't want to make you feel, oh, you were wrong or he was right or the other way around. No. I wanted to make you understand what Islam actually is, that it's got amazing values and traits. So that's where it began, right? And then you accept it now that some people do shake it, some people don't, and there are reasons behind
I
that.
understood myself afterwards, also after you explaining to me, and other Muslim colleagues that I work with as well also were explaining to me as well, that I did understand then about that concept with the male and the female. Obviously, other people would probably feel more, like we were saying, against everybody. But once I thought about it and it was explained to me, then I did begin to understand more about the culture and why.
You are now like you know my family very well. You know my wife, my children, and everything else, and our friendship blossomed really, really well. And I see you all the time that I was there. You're like another mother for me. Okay, you was very caring. You're this woman that I've never, and I'll be honest with you. Some of the qualities that I've seen in you, Sandra. And I'm being real here. I'm totally being honest here. I always saw you having some traits and qualities that Muslims should aspire to have. You're very giving. You're very kind. I mean, like, I know that every single holiday you would, give me gifts. You'd give my kids gifts. And there's other people as well. You're a very, very giving, loving woman. Not only that, you're caring. I mean, I remember.
Because I give things when you celebrate your Eid.
Yes, I
give gifts, but also my traditions as well. My Christmas.
Yeah, your Easter. You also give those things. Yes,
my friends.
You do. I know, and that's why I'm saying like you have such a big heart, a caring heart. Sometimes I look at those things. I wish I had a big heart like yours. All right, imagine that. And this is why I say, like, as Muslims, we are supposed to have these big hearts where we care for others. We have this altruism and caring for people around us. A Muslim needs to be more of a giver than a taker. So I remember this one particular time, right? I was quite under the weather. I didn't have a paracetamol or anything like that with me. I had this migraine. I was going to go and teach. And the whole day I was having to go through with this pain in my body. And I asked you whether you had any paracetamol. And you not only did you come with the paracetamol, you actually came with some Lemsip, all heated up with water and everything. And I thought, wow, it's like, and every other time that I was here, this is something that you'll do. This was beautiful. This friendship is very, very unlikely, right? First of all, I'm a man, you're a woman. It's very difficult for me to be friends with a female, okay, for example. But
not a Muslim female.
And not even a Muslim female. That's right. So it was very unusual, our friendship. All the time, one thing I felt is that there were some people, from the non-Muslim people that you knew that were looking at this in another way. Like some people would be like, making little comments, Sandra's doing this for you, doing that for you.
Don't really know the real reason why, because obviously I'm a nice, friendly, helpful person.
Yeah.
And they were making, I don't know whether it's because you were someone of the opposite sex, a different religion, or that they had something against, like we were saying, the Muslim culture or people.
you'd come out on our meals, that we would go out as a mash department. You'd always come to that.
I mean, like most of my friends now are of the Muslim religion, but to me, I don't see it like that because I am just who I am. It doesn't matter colour, race, religion, anything. I'll just see a person as a person, like get to know a person.
Where did you grow up?
In North London.
In North London, yeah. And was it like back then? Like was a lot of Muslims there?
Maybe not.
When did you first start interacting with Muslims?
Maybe when I started work at the school.
At the school,
mainly, yes.
Okay.
Which is a long time.
But did you have with everything that was in the media? Did you have any misconceptions? Well, now you can call them misconceptions, but any ideas, like any sort of like these are how you think Muslims are, or like you to see a Muslim woman, like how they dress, for example,
I can honestly say no, not at all really. That's never bothered me at all.
It bothers a lot of people.
It bothers a lot of people, but I see beyond that. Okay. I mean, I've been in situations where I've been on buses with Muslim ladies, and there's been comments made from my own culture about the Muslim lady. And I've actually stood up and spoken up.
Like, what made you do that?
I just don't know. They're just like people being kind of like nasty and disrespectful to other people. I don't like seeing other people upsetting other people and being, unkind.
It's quite brave of you. I mean, what if did you not think that I didn't start on me?
Yeah, but I didn't think that at the time. I couldn't help that at the time. In actual fact, the old bus actually clapped and said, "Well done for standing up to this man against this lady." It's happened a couple of times.
What do you think would have happened if you didn't say anything and let that happen? Do you think anyone else would have stepped in?
I'm not so sure. Maybe not, because as I say, a few times I've seen this happen where there have been people against like Muslim, not just Muslim, black people or other religions.
The minorities.
Yeah.
Because the reason I say that is it's very interesting. Like you said that because you stepped in, other people clapped, and and you also think that if you didn't step in, no one else would have said anything. And I just feel sometimes that it only takes like one person to make a stand and others will follow, because sometimes people they're very confused. They don't know what to do. They're seeing this stuff in the media. They're seeing, all this sort of news, and they're getting like a little bit of info, whatever they know about these minority groups and everything. They're hearing it from others, right?
Exactly.
Who've got sometimes a wrong intention. And sometimes I feel that all it takes is people out there to get to know their neighbours, their colleagues, a little bit better, go beyond that. And this is another thing, right? This is another thing. Sometimes, when we bond at work, the typical thing to bond over at work is let's go out for drinks on a Friday. And that automatically excludes Muslim people from coming. So sometimes I think they miss out on getting to know their Muslim colleagues and people.
Absolutely, people don't give them a chance.
Yeah, the chance is not given for them. Yeah,
or get to know people.
To get to know them, because you're doing things that the other person can't attend, and you'd find that actually they're amazing people. They're just like you. They've got the same interests and hobbies and all that. What's my passion? What's my biggest passion?
Oh,
that I love. What would you say? What's my biggest? You got to know me now.
Football.
Arsenal. Yeah, Arsenal. You know how much I love that. So it's just we can have conversations about. It's just like not over a drink. Like sometimes we can go out for a coffee instead, and we can have those conversations. It's just what's between us doesn't have to be a pint of beer. Right?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, do you see? And it could be a coffee. It can be somewhere we can go out for a meal that you and I both can eat. So it's little things like that. And this is why I called you on. I said, we really need to share our story, because there's going to be people out there, young people, who might be like you or might be like me. All right? Good hearts.
Yeah. But sometimes also as well, I think sometimes maybe an older generation, members of the family, haven't, I wouldn't say not educated their children properly or about this, but they kind of
you think they pass on negative?
Yes, absolutely.
Things on?
Yes,
Is that what you're saying?
definitely.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Whereas with like myself, I've brought my children up to respect every like religion. As I say, most of their friends were Muslims or black children, or you know.
So at that time, that incident happened, Sandra. I remember that you had lost your husband a few years ago. What were your own thoughts like at that time about God and religion? Were you a Christian? Were you a Christian back then?
I would say, I mean, I did used to go to like church when I was younger, and I wouldn't say I'm a full complete believer, but I do have my own. I still, because you don't have to go to church to be a believer.
Did you believe? You believed in God?
Yeah.
You believed in
yeah.
God. You believed in some power. Do you remember that time when I gave you a copy of the translation of the Qur'an? What did you think of that book at that time? Your early thoughts?
Well, when I first started to read it, I mean, obviously, sort of in a quiet sort of place and that, it was quite, I don't know, it just made me feel happy, and yeah, it was just like quite deep. And
You used to tell me that you read it every night, like even for
yeah,
10
but see,
minutes.
not necessarily like from page to page. I used to like pick out bits and read certain bits and
you
things.
said it made you feel
and
peaceful?
once as well, you sent me once a lovely
A
poem
video poem. Yeah, I
of
remember.
that was so lovely.
Yeah. So that poem was...
As well, that really, really was a beautiful poem.
Can you imagine one who was the gentlest of men, while being the most brave and just of all who've been? One who conquered all desires of self that make men weak, who granted all who asked him precisely what they seek.
I remember that you were teared by
I know, I kept saying to you, didn't I, that it was so lovely, and I kept...
What did you like about it?
I just thought it was just so deep and meaningful, and it was just, I don't know, it was... just made me feel, I don't know, it was...
That was a
just
description
lovely.
of the Prophet Muhammad. And after listening to that description, you felt like this.
Yeah, it was lovely.
Just imagine, this is the same man that some of the media have intent on vilifying, and some people out the politicians and everything, the Quran burning and everything that was happening back then. They're out to vilify this man. It's like something, and this is what I'm saying, like from my point of view, is it's like they're trying to stop people, good people, from actually learning about him. What are they afraid of? And sometimes I feel that within mankind, we have these devils that want to stop people like you hearing about people like him, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Okay, they want to stop you, and they'll do that by otherizing the followers of Prophet Muhammad. Sometimes they otherize them, like they're not from us, they're different, they're alien. Yeah, they don't like you. And it's those moments that when people, overcome those obstacles and barriers that are placed in front of them, that this happens. Yeah, where we become connected, and we start to understand one another. We start to see the good. I don't look at you as a non-Muslim woman.
No, this is right. Good in you. It doesn't mean to say that
only Muslims are good. In fact, I want to say this. I might get a bit of backlash from some people, and I'm telling you this hand on heart. I'm just telling you because of my experience with you and other people. I have seen better qualities in you than I have in some Muslim people that I have experienced over the years. Because sometimes you might be a Muslim by name, you might be born into a Muslim family, but you don't necessarily have the qualities, like that video that you...
And also the bus situation, I can honestly say myself as well, hand on heart, that I am disgusted and feel awful that the Muslim people, like that lady, as she must have felt, and myself breathing the same air as the people from my own...
You felt bad about those... you felt kind of bad. But that's the other thing, Sandra. It's not your responsibility. It's not mine.
No, but
there's 6 billion or 7 billion people on the planet.
I know.
Right?
But if only
and this is something that people need to understand. Like you don't judge an entire... Like this man who, I don't blame him, okay, for doing that or anything. I'm not judging him. I'm not, it's not about him, okay. What's happened has happened, but there's many incidences like this that happen every day, where someone gets the wrong end of the stick and then they go on and have this misconception for the rest of their lives. And in all the interactions with Muslims and people or people of other faiths and backgrounds, they will always have that in the back of their head, and that denies them to really understand other people and become, amazing friends. You're very close to me now. Today you're in my house. You've come here for dinner. You've met my family. You brought presents over, and I think that it's amazing that we have this respectful, mutual understanding of each other like this, and this friendship that has grown and blossomed from that. But there's people who won't, have this because of these obstacles, and I think that it's important that people start to have better understanding of one another, and don't let little incidences like completely change how they would interact with these kind of people in the future. It's very normal for people to be like more friendly with people from within their own community, from people from within their own backgrounds. For example, Asian people are more likely to have Asian friends, close friends to them who are Asians. Black people will have friends, their closest friends might be black people, and white people will have closest friends who will be white people. And that's perfect normal because you share more things in common, and that's understandable. What message would you like to give people out there? Young people, they're going through university, the young adults.
Get to know people first. Give them a chance. Talk to people. Don't judge everyone by everyone else's standards.
That's important.
Get to know them first, and then be the judge yourself whether you want to be friends
Don't
with
listen
that
to
person.
this.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah?
Also, I've had people say to me when we've had like student teachers or people at work come in to the workplace, and sometimes people as well mistake like rudeness for shyness. They don't give that person a chance. They say, oh, they're so rude, they don't even say hello.
Oh, but they're shy.
But
they're introverts.
Get to know them first. I've always said, well, they don't talk to me, we'll talk to them. But I just respect everyone. It's like, I'm like supervise the prayers on a Friday at the school.
You do, yeah.
And I take it very, very seriously.
Yeah,
in fact, sometimes I take it more seriously than anybody.
Yeah, than anyone else.
So,
just to say, Sandra's actually a marshal for the Friday prayer. Where about how many students are about? What is it? 150, 200?
Oh, yeah.
And you're the main teacher on duty, making sure. What do you do? Like you're making sure that the corridors are quiet.
Yep.
The other students who are not in the prayers,
all their bags and belongings are kept nice and neat.
The shoes are outside nicely. That's the job that you do. And you don't even know, there's an amazing reward for that. But Sandra,
no, the children do respect me. They do, and they always thank me. And
to conclude this, honestly, I don't want to highlight how much good you do because I know you want to keep some of those things private.
And I don't want people to think that I am like a real. Well, I am a good person, but I don't.
Sandra, take it from me, you are an amazing person, and I pray that God gives you goodness in this life, and God gives you His guidance. And keeps you on that guidance. That's what I pray for. And thank you. I know that this has been difficult because you're not a camera person. And even though I've been doing this for years, that's great. I'm happy with that. You're welcome anytime to give, because I know you're also a very wise woman. Young people look up to you as well. So you're welcome back anytime to give whatever sort of message that you feel is important for young people to hear in this day and age, navigating through life. So thank you for coming on and being a guest.
Thank you.